Brought to you by Rush TV.
Happy TOG Month, I'm your host Tammy Young and this is The Turnbuckle. Today's show will be going over some of the injury updates as well as some of the upcoming shows and events set to take place down the line and much more. Speaking of upcoming events, this past Friday, January 27, 2023, OCW aired another episode of Riot, marking its 597th episode to date, with Riot's 600th episode approaching. The fans are excited to find out what events along with surprise guests OCW has up its sleeves. With OCW celebrating its 600th episode of Riot, many are expecting a huge turnout. Only time will tell. As for now, on to our weekly injury report. Last week's injury list added names such as Harry Etiquette as well as Ines Courts and Hito Gue. This past week seems to be much better when it comes to injuries as no new names have been added to the list. As for updates, our sources haven't had many notes on our current list of wrestlers, as Harry is noted as needing to be out of commission for a week or two. But no updates on Courts or Ashley Moore at this time. We will keep you updated if we hear anything. On the other hand, we have Hito Gue, who none of our sources would talk to, but he seems to still be active following what some are calling a $1 Million Man reconstruction. As much as we would like to interview Hito Gue on these treatments that he is currently undergoing, everyone on staff refuses to step foot into any room with him. As stated before, don't expect much information when it comes to Hito Gue. Up next, we have some of the highlights from this past Riot 597, but first here are the scheduled matches for this week's Turmoil 292. On to Riot. This week our top matches and moments of Riot 597 kicks off with Bobby Bad D as she takes on her role as a manager looking for some new clientele. Bobby, who hasn't been seen in OCW much recently, seems to be setting new goals for herself as she has taken OCW rookie Chase Psycho under her wing in what some consider to be a very unique combination for the two. One of the show's next surprises was the potential return of T.Y. Sparks to OCW action. The former light heavyweight champion Sparks was last seen in the main event of Turmoil 269 in an over-the-top rope battle royal match for the right to be the #1 contender and take on John Carter for the light heavyweight title. Sparks was the last person to be thrown out of the match by H2O. He was noted as being a spectacle during his time in OCW. Following that match, the up-and-coming star, who decided not to re-sign his contract with OCW at the time, seems to be working towards making a much-anticipated return to the ring. Many fans, myself included, having been looking forward to seeing his triumphant return to the OCW ring. As for the top matches on Riot this week, we have TOG member Cheyenne Lovelace versus 3-time women's champion La Mugera Obscura in a one-on-one match that took the show by storm. Before getting to the details, let's mention what took place before the start of the match as Tara de Tiras made her way down to the ring to stage what many consider a hijacking of the show. Cheyenne Lovelace made her way to the ring to confront Tara, who seemed to be unfazed by Cheyenne's threats and stood her ground. Before a brawl could take place between the two, La Mugera's music interrupted the potential brawl, sparking up our match. Returning to our match details, Cheyenne and La Mugera put up one hell of a battle as the two gave it everything that had. La Mugera's expertise in the ring showed as she began taking apart the rookie Cheyenne. But the TOG member did not let the former women's champion get into her head as she not only sparked a comeback of the century, she managed to hit La Mugera with a love tap to pull out the win over the 3-time women's champion. Considering the path of destruction TOG has been on this past shows, Tara might not want to cause any more waves. But we'll see where things are headed as time goes on. For our last highlight of the show, We have former North American champion Christian Garcia versus current OCW heavyweight champion Harvey Hamilton Ocean in a non-title single match that was considered by the OCW universe as the match of the night. The match left fans in shock as Christian Garcia and H2O, joined by Christianity members Cassidy Hayes and Chris Green, put on a heart-stopping match. The battle with Garcia started with H2O dominating Garcia for a good portion of the opening start of the match. Harvey, who seemed to have used a lot of his energy in an attempt to try to end the match, quickly started to slow down a bit as Garcia started to mount an offense in the battle. The battle between the two was heavily heated as both Garcia was able to kick out of a Riptide superkick out of nowhere, followed by H2O kicking out of a Descaron forearm. The crowd was on their feet as the match could lead to either of the men winning at a moment's notice. Many fans were surprised as the match came to an end following a White Phoenix into a 3 count by the ref. As the match rolled to a close and the members of Christianity would celebrate their win over Christian Garcia, H2O and Chris Green were attacked by Rust Cole, who climbed over the barricade and attacked the two from behind. Cassidy Hayes, who was able to avoid the attack, didn't seem pleased with the former TTT member. What's next for Christianity? How will they respond to this attack from Rust Cole? For answers to these questions and more, you'll have to keep watching. You can keep up to date on these events as well as all the other segments and stories at OCWFED.com. As for now, I've been Tammy Young. Thanks for watching The Turnbuckle, and we'll see you next time.